When you think about a university campus, you're probably picturing, lecture halls, big lawns, maybe some dorms.
Yeah, quad, people throwing a frisbee.
Exactly.
Welcome to the garden. It's a beautiful place, so I hope you enjoy the show.
But if you look at UCSB and Santa Barbara City College, you're seeing something completely different. You're basically looking at a farm.
A farm, yeah. And a really productive one. We're working from this analytical overview and production guide for the project. And it's essentially a blueprint for how a university can stop just landscaping and start feeding people.
And it connects the two campuses.
It does. It creates this huge interconnected, what they call a closed loop system.
The scale of it really surprised me. I mean, this isn't just a couple of tomato plants. The Urban Orchard Project, that started back in 2015.
With just a few citrus trees.
Right, just 6 or 7 trees in Stork Plaza. But the guide projects that each one of those trees at maturity could yield between 400 and 600 pounds of produce a year.
A single tree.
Yeah.
And that yield is so important because the main goal here, the whole point of the Edible Campus program, is to tackle food insecurity.
So they're taking these underutilized spaces like lawns or decorative planters and just turning them into food.
Exactly. And it's got some pretty serious backing. Did you see who was listed in the origin story?
Oh yeah, you can't miss Jack and Kim Johnson. It's pretty cool to see that kind of support for a project that's literally about getting your hands dirty.
It really is.
But I think my favorite part of this whole thing, I mean, the name alone is fantastic, is the Department of Public Works.
It's a great name. But the work they do it's serious biological engineering. This is where that whole closed loop idea really clicks.
Okay, so break that down.
Well, think about all the food waste from the campus cafeterias, the apple cores, leftovers. Instead of that going to a landfill, the Department of Public Works composts it with worms.
So vermicomposting. The waste feeds the worms make this amazing soil.
And that soil grows new food on the campus farms. And that food goes directly to the students through the AS Food Bank.
The loop is complete. Waste isn't an end product, it's the beginning of the next meal.
That's the loop. Now, while the worms are sort of the biological engine, if you go over to the UCSB student farm, they're chasing efficiency with a very different toolkit.
Right, this is where we get into the tech. They swap the worms for Wi-Fi.
Exactly. I mean, the farm itself is designed for accessibility, the special walkways for wheelchairs and garden boxes at different heights. But inside the soil, that's where you find the Smart Farm Initiative.
This is Dr. Chandra Krintz's research, right? With edge computing.
Yes, it's a fascinating combination.
So what does edge computing actually do for, a zucchini?
It's about data and speed. So your typical IoT sensor, like a moisture probe, sends data all the way to a central cloud server for processing.
Which takes time.
It takes time and bandwidth. Edge computing processes that data right there on site, on the edge. It lets the system analyze tiny microclimates and adjust irrigation in real time. It's hyper-local, hyper-efficient.
So you have this futuristic cloud-powered farm. But then you can walk over to the West Campus family student housing and the philosophy just completely flips.
It really does. You basically step back in time. You find the Three Sisters Garden,
which comes from the American Indian and Indigenous Gardens Alliance Project. It's this incredible companion planting method.
A masterclass in it. You plant corn, beans, and squash together, not just randomly, but in a very specific, symbiotic way.
And it's not just about taste. The guide explains how they literally engineer the environment for each other. The corn provides the structure, the scaffolding.
Right, it's the pole for the beans to climb. But then the beans, they're the chemists. They pull nitrogen from the air and fix it in the soil, so they're making fertilizer for the other two.
And the squash.
The squash is the living mulch. Its big leaves shade the ground, which keeps moisture in the soil and stops weeds from growing.
And the guide mentioned a fourth sister, too, the sunflower.
The bodyguard. Planted on the edges, it draws birds away from the corn and brings in the pollinators. It's a complex, self-sufficient system. Zero electricity needed.
That deep respect for indigenous science seems to carry over to SBCC at the Chumash Point Ethnobotanical Preserve.
Yeah, that site is so important. It's not just a garden of native plants. It's a living library of Chumash culture plants for medicine, for food, for spiritual use. It recognizes that this land had a purpose long before the campus was here.
It's just an incredible spectrum. You've got high-tech sensors making split-second decisions on one side and ancient planting wisdom on the other, all in the same ecosystem.
And that's really the big takeaway here. The theme is resilience through diversity. We think we have to choose, modern tech or traditional knowledge. This project proves you need both. You need the worms, you need the edge computing, and you need the three sisters.
It absolutely changes how you look at a simple patch of grass. So maybe here's a thought to leave you with. The next time you're scraping a plate or throwing out an apple core, just ask yourself where that waste is really going. Is it just the end? Or, if we take a lesson from the Department of Public Worms, could it actually be the start of your next meal? Thanks for diving in with us.